Oh, hello.
Hello.
Ooh,
Hello,
hi.
everyone.
Hello.
We are here. Welcome to the last release party of 2025. The 12th release, 2025.12, as we do date versioning. It is a big one. It's an epic one. We brought all the superheroes in here to talk about all the cool stuff that we've been building. But first, let's do a quick round of introduction just so you know whose head is talking about what and why. My name is Paulus Schoutse. I am the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm the lead of the Home Assistant project. And up front, you guys look all so Christmassy. I'm sorry. I'm not. I do have a Christmas tree in my name here. There it is. So that's my contribution for today. The rest is in
You
boxes.
have an excuse.
Anyway, let's continue. JLo.
Hello. My name is JLo. I'm the lead of product and UX at the OpenM Foundation.
I am Missy. I am your head of shitposting or your community and social media manager.
I'm Laura. I'm product manager at the Open Home Foundation.
And I'm Peter, and I'm a front-end dev or a chart developer.
Developer. Thank you so much for all being here. By the way, that Chris, you have done very much law, Missy. You have a nice background.
Oh God, I did the
adorable.
garland last second. I was literally doing that an hour ago, trying to set everything up. My husband went to Home Depot this morning just to get that because we couldn't find it anywhere else. We had to go to Home Depot for the garland. But yeah, this is an outdoor decoration, just like Laura has with her inflatable polar bear. And this was all inspired last week. Laura was like, should I put this on the live stream? And I was like, yes, let me match your energy. And then we did.
I put everything on the sweater. That's the only thing I have. But it's a nice sweater.
It looks really good.
Where's the hat?
Actually,
Where is the hat?
I've been searching for it. I couldn't find it. I'm literally moving in 11 days and everything is in boxes. I opened up a lot of boxes tonight. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. All right. So there we go. But point 12, a final release of this year. It's a big one, as Paul has already introduced. There's so much stuff to talk about today. There's also a lot of complex things to talk about today. But before we do, should we dive into what happened this month? There is not much, but there's at least one thing, Paul, is because you were in a live stream with a successful product launch.
Yeah, so I think the first thing that we should talk about, in case you've missed it, we've launched the Home Assistant Connect ZBT2, which is the easiest way to get started with Zigbee and or Thread in Home Assistant. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out the live stream, check out the blog post. It's a great little adapter. It is 4 times as fast as the ZBT1. It is 6 times as long antenna or 7 times longer than the previous than the ZBT1. We've optimized everything on this, plus made it look beautiful. So it's a great product. Try it out. We've also, not just for this product launch, but we've revamped all Zigbee in the last few releases to really make sure that you can easily migrate from old Zigbee adapters to the ZBT2. You can also, there's a good, nice wizard that really guides you through all the different steps to get started. So if, and the website is gorgeous.
Yeah. I was looking for this
Darren
one.
has outdone themselves here.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah,
It
the
is.
website is great.
Look at this.
This
come
is
on.
amazing. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's beautiful.
That PCB, by the way, so everything is annotated, hackable, right? We have hooks into you want to debug the Zigbee chip, you want to debug the ESP32 that we use for USB to serial. It's all there so that people can really tinker with it. And in a way, it's not just for consumers, the best product, but it's also if you want to work on Zigbee or Thread in Home Assistant, this is the product to get, right? You can tinker with your own firmware. All the firmware, of course, the builders are open source. So definitely worth it to try it out. And the price, of course. I mean, just to finish up the summary, right? $49, 45 euros. Even though, there's some tariffs here and there, we were still able to get a competitive price. And this price includes the funding the work of the Open Home Foundation, right? So if you buy this product, 60% of the profit goes into the Open Home Foundation, pays for the people that work at the Open Home Foundation. And that's a lot of people nowadays. I'm not sure we still have job openings right now that are open. But if we have been hiring a bunch this year, we'll probably be hiring more next year. openhomefoundation.org/jobs if you want to work with us. It is a lot of fun because we build cool stuff. There are no investors, right? We only work for the community. So check that out too.
Frank has 2 jobs opened in the website on his department.
Wait,
I
they
don't know if
should
it's
have
still the
been.
case. They shouldn't be. We do not have jobs opened at the Open Home Foundation.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what went wrong there. Let me ask or figure out. But I actually this afternoon discussed we're okay now. Nevertheless, sorry for this like
You
super
will forget
professional-
what I just said.
We'll cut this one out in the live
then
stream.
there is nabukasa.com has a job opening though. So
Yes.
Agreed.
check that out too.
All right. That's it for the other bits. Besides that, let's dive into the release because it's big enough to get through these 2 hours, I would say. And I want to dive into my personal little
Side project?
release. Side project. Let's call it that.
1 hour project?
No, definitely not a 1 hour
No.
project. That was definitely not the case.
7 nights project?
It was definitely built overnight, and it's not a healthy work, private life thing. But I had fun. It's my hobby still. No, so I want to introduce this. We're going to introduce and talk about something we call Home Assistant Labs. And the reasons why we introduce this is because we have so many things we want to ship to you, so many things that maybe are not always like finished yet, or something we would like to like iterate on with you, that we always struggle with a way how we present this to you and how we bring these things to you that are not necessarily fully finished yet. And in some cases, it's so much not finished that it's feature incomplete, for example, as we will have an example for today, that it like withholds us to ship it actually to you and does in the later stage get feedback. In order to improve that, there has been an idea circling around called basically feature flags. And that's what I actually built out this release cycle as Home Assistant Labs. And let me actually show you what it looks like today. Here we go. This is my instant of the house that I'm moving out to. So everything is broken and there are tons of warnings. So please ignore that. 43 here. There we go. Let's go into the system settings. And I've set it to dark mode for a reason. I will show you in a minute why that is. But if we go into settings and scroll all the way down to system, you will find a brand new menu item here called Labs, Home Assistant Labs. There we go, Home Assistant Labs. And this is where we showcase new features, including triggers and conditions. Big spoiler alert here. We're going to talk about that in a minute, which is the reason why we built Labs in the first place. But Labs items are basically things you can turn on and off. There's a test thing here. Everything but the kitchen sink. There's a development thing, so you won't see that. And winter mode. And winter mode is something... Oh, God, Missy, do you want to introduce that? You can do that best, I would say.
Yeah, so we actually discovered a Reddit post a week and a half ago. This really fell into place like perfectly for the timing of this, actually, where someone wrote a front-end change that was snowfalling on it, but it only worked in light mode. So when we shared it internally, Paul, one of the other front-end designers, engineers, within 30 minutes had something working for us that would actually go, and that a literal 1 hour project, guys, at one of the few we've ever done. And we were like, we need to put this in somewhere. We need to have this in. We need to be able to turn this on. And Frank was like, what about Labs? So we're like, yes, let's put it in Labs. So thank you for, first off, the community member who posted it in our subreddit. They actually shared the work of another user, which is really awesome. We're just kind of going through, and that's the spirit of this community, right? We find something really cool. It gives us more ideas and we kind of run with it.
Yeah. And it's a great way to like when I made labs, you want to have something you can toggle on and off, right? It's a preview feature. So this is a nice little feature you can just toggle on and off without having impact and play with. So here, let me show you how it looks. If preview feature is enabled, let me click in the right screen. That helps a lot. Enable. It will give you this dialog, and it will toggle on automated backups if you have that enabled. So you can create a backup up front before you enable a feature. So you have a restore point to get back to in case you don't like something or something goes south in a way you don't like it. Like there's always a safety net there if you really enjoy that. I'm not going to do that. That takes time. So let me enable this preview feature. And if all goes right,
Yay!
there we go. It's
And it's
snowing.
It's snowing. It's good to note that we actually want this in there permanently. It's a really good way to test out what preview features look like within labs themselves, but also winter isn't happening right now in the Southern Hemisphere. So we want to make sure next year you guys actually have the ability to use it too. So there was one thing that someone actually asked about, and this is very funny because JLo first asked for it and then we took it out, and that was, can it be enabled / disabled via automations? No, not right now, but it is definitely something we thought of, decided not to do for this initial release, but it's been asked enough during beta that we want to get it in there.
I like this comment. I'm going to highlight it even though it's not in English, but typical Dutch, snow doesn't lay down, like it doesn't stay. It is true. Like if it snows here, it's always like melts instantly. It's kind of nice. But the cool, the snow mode is here for testing and to show this case, and it's pretty nice. To be fair, and it will snow on all your devices. Some minor note here is that if you have motion, what is it called?
Reduced motion.
Reduced motion. Thank you, Petar. Reduced motion enabled on your device, it will not show. It will honor that, so that kind of works. But yeah, this is window mode, and to show you that it works instantly, I can just as well disable it again, and it's gone. That's the way labs work, and that's the way it works. Some other cool features. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was going to say, this is, as with Home Assistant, we're always on the forefront of like innovation, and this just once again shows, what is possible if you put your mind to it. Yeah,
no other home automation platform does that. Yeah. So
I was going to say, nowhere else could I work and be like, no, we need to put this dumb feature in next week and it gets done, because that's what happened.
Also, there is a fairly big Easter egg right in your face for the winter mode, which I will not spoil.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Additionally, a labs feature means that it's not necessarily unstable. I want to highlight the difference between labs and beta. We run a beta test period, and during beta, we test for stability. That means we are trying to figure out if there are bugs. We try out if there things are really broken. Labs features are not to test, and labs features are not to test stability or find bugs. Of course, if you find a bug that's nice, right? Like report it, please. We'll fix it, but it's not the intention. We want to ship something that's bug-free and crash-free. It's just not maybe at the experience level we want it to be. So that's a big difference between labs and beta testing. In order to help with that, you actually can see that we have additional buttons here on every lab feature on where you can provide feedback for this lab feature, this preview feature, and where you can report issues if you have one. We're going to talk about this one, but if you want to read all about it, you can learn more. If you want to report issues, there's this button which will bring you directly to our issue tracker, which is partly pre-filled already actually for you. And if you want to provide feedback, you can click on it and it will bring you to a whole feedback form, which is then processed by our product department and the people at JLo's department, basically, in order to make it better next time. The whole goal about labs features is to bring them into general release so that they're available for everyone. So everything in here is temporary.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nice things for me and my team is that we've been a bit abusing beta in order to get feedback, but beta is super short, and also beta doesn't touch a lot of you. So there is only a very small amount of users that are actually running beta. It's very nice to be able to release something in order to get feedback and build more openly. And that's the goal of the lab. And as Frank said, the goal of the lab is not to release unstable or experimental feature. It's to release unfinished or uncertain feature that are at the same level of quality of what we are releasing without the labs.
Yep, exactly. So that is labs.
Someone asked a question really quick, I think relevant we should touch on real quick, is do you collect the usage? And will that help? We're not collecting usage on this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the way I see it is that the data we collect is transparent with you, and I see it as a contract with you. So you know exactly what we collect. You can go to the analytics page, you see the same thing as us. If we need more data in order to make development, we can, but it has to be a discussion with you. So I see it as a contract. And for now, today, we are fine with what we have. It is a challenge on our side to be able to develop without all of this data, but it's okay. And it's a challenge that we are willing to take. So no, we don't collect usage by default. And the data that we collect, first of all, you have to opt in and you know exactly what we collect because everything is transparent.
I must be honest, like knowing that 20 or 100 or 1,000 people have turned on a certain labs feature is maybe mildly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to really help us out, just submit the feedback. The feedback link and tell us honestly what you feel and think about the feature, which is 10,000 more valuable than just a single number that some people turned it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you want to help out, do that, please.
Quantitative data is always easy to analyze. Qualitative data is always complex, but that's a challenge we are willing to take. We prefer qualitative feedback about what's working and what's not working on your side, even if it means that we have more work on our side. At least it's aligned with our value.
Yep. Yeah. So that is labs. And the first feature was winter, of course, but the second one we put in, and the whole reason why we started doing or why I started building this labs in the first place in the short term is to be able to ship you a very big, huge, incomplete feature actually, but it's true, right? It's not complete, but it's very exciting. And we are definitely looking for your feedback. It are the specific purpose or the purpose specific, what's the order now? I forgot.
Purpose specific
conditions and triggers. Jill, you want to carry it on?
Yeah, maybe a bit of context, and then after I will explain you just a bit of context. Even if I'm going to start by saying 2 years ago, because it's 2 years ago. I'm not going to do like 2 years of history, but it's still 2 years ago, we released a very small change in the automation editor, but that very small change kind of sets in place a 2 years plan, more or less, kind of set in motion a 2 years plan. And that change was, I don't know if some of you remember, but 2 years ago, when you were clicking on add action, you had only, you had only one option that was usable, which was called call service. And with Matthias, we decided to change that to show you all of the actions. So you were able to see like all of the actions, like turn on the light or set the speed of a fan or set the temperature of a climate. And when we did that, we made one comment that says, "Oh, that's unfortunate that we cannot do that for for triggers and for conditions." Which was literally just that comment. Like that's actually sad that we cannot do that for trigger and conditions. And then we ideated, we drew things on paper, pen and paper, etc. Tested with the community if this would work. And 2 years later, we are there with the product, which is exactly what we envisioned, with a lot of evolution along the way, of course. And we are calling it purpose-specific triggers and conditions. I guess that I can just jump in and show you the main difference of how to use them and why we did it. I guess that's going to be simple.
Can I introduce a little bit of extra context here? Because if you look at our history and what we did and how actions work is part of the base here. So actions have a few traits up their sleeve that triggers and conditions not have. So if you work with actions, you can actually say turn on the light, right? And it will turn on the light. But you can also do things like turn on all the lights in the living room. It means they're like way more targeting. They can target whole floors, areas, or even labels, especially with Christmas around the corner. It's pretty cool to use a label like Christmas decoration and say turn on the lights that are labeled Christmas decoration. Super helpful. And besides that, we have tons of them, right? We have one to turn on the light, one to set the temperature of a climate. We have dozens of them. Hundreds of them, I would say.
Yeah.
And besides that, integrations can actually provide that, right? If you have like some weird integration and even custom ones, they could provide additional actions for you to use and to automate with, which is really cool. Something
it's like a two-step, it's like a two-step thing, which is great. Like you have a media player coming from Sonos, for example.
Yep.
Then you have all of the media player actions because it's a media player. But then Sonos is also a media player that supports timers, and so you have an action that is called set timer or clear queue, etc., which is useful. Yeah. And if you think about triggers, I'm going to continue the story of Frank.
Yeah,
none of it is true. So the triggers, there is only maybe one or two that are really useful, which we are calling the state trigger and the numerical state trigger. In order to use it, first of all, you need to understand exactly how we store the data and how that data is changing. So you need to understand what we are calling the state machine, how the data is changing, which is very complex for someone that starts, even if you want to do simple things. I want to trigger an automation when the temperature of my climate goes above 25 degrees.
It's impossible.
In order to do that, you need to do a numerical state trigger on an attribute. Wow. Go ahead and try to explain this to someone that just started. And on top of that, it is heavily linked to our entities. So you cannot trigger on something bigger than an entity, for example, on the floor or on an area.
I remember if you want to trigger on the volume of media player, that you actually need to know that volume is between 0 and 1.
Yeah.
Like 50% is 0.5. Like
exactly.
Knowing that is just like.
But yeah, exactly. Storing it like this makes sense, right? But forcing you to know that is unfair in a way. It's unfair. And so there is a lot of ways to circumvent this, especially the target part. For example, if you want to target when the lights on your living room turn on, then there is many ways to do that today. All of them requires you to maintain what you're building. You can list your you can list your light one by one in the automation, but you need to maintain the automation. You can create a group, but you need to maintain your group. And there is no way to just say, I want to create an automation for my living room that's just going to evolve with my living room, right? And because we are now creating new triggers that support targets, this is now possible. I think we can show it now that we rumble. So the only thing that I want to mention is that it is part of a lab, mostly because we do not have all of the triggers and all of the conditions yet. Actually, I'm going to be very transparent. For the conditions, we have 2 of them. That's it. Yep. And we want to have like 200 of them, so we don't have all of them. This is more to show you the vision of where we are going. That's more or less about it. So I enabled that, feedback. I enabled that lab or that feature, and I'm going to go to the automation editor, and I'm going to just navigate a bit around and show you the new things. Then after I have a demo that is already built in, but for now, let's just go to the automation, create a new automation, and show you a bit how it looks. So on the trigger side, go ahead.
The thing that I was thinking that we didn't mention, the last few releases, we've done quite a lot of changes on the automation editor, right? We added the whole sidebar. We added a new target picker. We added a new way that displayed which targets are actually affected, right? That if you selected living room, you would exactly know which entities and devices would be affected. All of that stuff that we have done in the past few years, including renaming things in YAML or changing the way that actions are listed and service calls are no longer a thing, all led up to this here. Like, especially in the last few releases, were all precursors in order to build this, what JLO is going to show today.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so you're going to see that I'm going to go one by one. On the trigger, I have now 2 tabs. One tab that is called triggers, which is I'm going to call it the old one, even if there is a lot of new things there. And I have a tab that is called targets. And this is mostly to accommodate. This is something that we surfaced during interviews. We actually found out that some of you think trigger first. You know what you want, and so you are looking for a trigger. But some of you are actually thinking about target first. For example, I want to do something with my motion sensor, and then thinking about what you want to do. If you think like that, we were not helping you at all, because you had to know that it would be like a state trigger or a numerical state trigger. In order to know that, you need to know the trigger first before being able to do what you want to do. So now you have these two tabs. I'm going to start by the target. Here I have my house, that more or less is my home, right? I have my floors and other areas that are not assigned to floors, and I have a bunch of things that are not assigned, because there are a lot of things that are not assigned, and I have labels. And I can also search. I can search for everything. So I can search for an area, for example, living room, entities, areas, everything. I can search for everything, or labels, or even triggers. For example, if I look for state, I'm going to have like the state trigger. Let's just go back to the search one second. So if I click on first floor, this is the big thing that's new. These are triggers that are going to target the whole floor. For example, if occupancy is detected on my first floor, regardless of which area. If I want to have something specifically about my bedroom, I can actually go one level down, which is there, bedroom. Now I can say, sorry, I don't have my occupancy sensor in the bedroom because I just ripped it off the wall for the demo. I don't even know, okay, so living room. Occupancy, for example, in the living room. If I click on that, it's going to be a new trigger, and it's going to be already specified with the living room target. So I click on it, and I have a very big sidebar, a new trigger, which is called occupancy detected. Triggers after one or more occupancy sensor start detecting occupancy. In this case, it's only one. And I have a target, which is, in this case, an area, which is much simpler to understand than saying when the state of one or more than one occupancy sensors goes from off to on. And we have the same thing for condition. So I can also walk my house for conditions. Here you will see that the list is fairly simple because we started by just having two conditions, which are just light is on or light is off. That's about it. So if I just walk my house, I'm going to have like either targeting a floor or targeting an area. There will be many things there. Media player is playing something. A voice assistant is currently responding, and so on and so forth. For now, we are starting small. So click. And then the action, which actually, it's funny because the action, we didn't create anything new, but that's the biggest change because we already have so many actions. In the action, you are used to actually picking the action first. So saying like, I want to turn on a light on the living room. This is what you are used to do. Now what you can do is you can say living room, and then you have all of the actions that can target the living room. And inside this thing, I don't have the label. Sorry, there is a small bug. I should have labels there. Maybe I'm just going to refresh the screen once. I'm not going to refresh the screen. Sorry about that. I don't know why I don't have the labels. I think it's my theme. My theme is a bit weird. Sorry about that. But I should be able to find lights. Right? Sorry about that. Light. And I can just say like turn off the light, which obviously leads to the same thing. But this is just to accommodate two ways of thinking about actions, and now triggers, and now conditions.
This is amazing. I like this so much, to be fair, because what happens, JLo, if I...
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
What happens if we change things? Like, you now had the occupancy, that's gone, right? You had like can you add the trigger back?
Yeah, sure. I can. So let's say, for example, occupancy on the first floor, the full first floor, occupancy detected, for example, right? Here actually, it's a good example. There is two of them, right? I need to explain the behavior, but I will explain it later. Let's say that usage, like you do an automation that says when occupancy is detected, do something on the first floor. So for example, first floor, turn on the light. Okay, so that will be an automation that would be somehow... that somehow makes sense. Well, you don't turn off the light when there is no more occupancy, but still it makes sense. Let's say that when you are using this, you find out that there is one place in your first floor where occupancy is not that good. For example, you are missing one sensor. You have like a corner on your kitchen where the occupancy sensors are actually not targeting you. What you can do is you can buy another occupancy sensor, put it there, assign it to the correct area. That's it. Like the automation is going to work. In fact, what I created there is an automation that is a behavior of a floor. In this case, it's a floor. Occupancy detected on the floor, turn on the light on the floor. And this is going to survive everything that you do on the floor. You can add 15 lights, remove a few lights, replace occupancy sensor from Zigbee to Z-Wave, change a few things, buy some ESP device that are millimeter wave sensors, and it's going to work. That's just a behavior of a room. And so this is great. Like for maintenance, it's just amazing, actually.
It really works in a way that if you add more lights or more sensors, they instantly work. You don't have to change your automation. You don't have to change anything as long as you categorize your devices correctly in your house. Like put them in an area, put your areas into floors. It will really help you building these automations in a way that is totally different. Being able to trigger on motion has been detected somewhere, like occupancy detection, and turn all the lights in that same room. Just that will always work, regardless if you swap out sensors, put in new lights, additional ones. Like that is just...
Actually, I have this exact demo that I can show. So I prepared a small automation, which is exactly this, except that I'm just doing like when it's detected, do something, when it's cleared, do something else, right? When it's detected, it's one area that I call the demo desk. I will show you the desk. I have another camera with just a desk, and I'm simulating a room, an area with my desk. And here I have one occupancy sensor. So when it detects, I'm just turning on the lights on the demo desk area. And then when it is cleared, I'm turning off the lights on the demo area again. And so this is basically this. Give me a sec. I'm just going to remove my screen. I'm going to put... I think I can put this camera big. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So this is the motion sensor, which is just there.
Nice pulse.
And if I detect, like, let's say that this is a small room. So if I basically enter the room, then the light turn on. And if I just leave the room, then the light should turn off. Right. So let's say that this is a very standard way. Sorry, I need to wait a bit of time and I need to stop moving because these sensors are very, very, very picky. Then the light turn off. Okay, so that was a fairly simple automation. Imagine that I'm basically living with this and I want to replace the sensor. For example, I want to repurpose it for something else and I want to add a light, which I'm going to do right now. So no lies. I'm just going to replace one sensor and add one more light. Give me 1 sec.
Plug it in.
So
might be the most epic demo of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just basically like added like let me just basically reflect what I did on the software because I do need to do a few things. So I'm just going to go back and share my screen. What I'm going to do is I have a small demo dashboard ready. So demo desk and new stuff and reuse later. So I changed my occupancy sensor and I added one light. So basically this is out now. For example, I'm going to put it on the reuse later. I can reuse it later, right? That's a sensor that works. This one there, this one there. That was just a dashboard. I need to just change the areas. I'm just going to change the areas quickly. So this one is not anymore on the demo desk. It's somewhere else. And this one is now on the demo desk area. So more or less what I'm doing now is just basically what I'm calling device management, right? You need to do that. It's information architecture. You need to say to Home Assistant, where is this thing, right? So I'm just putting it on the demo desk, which is something that you usually do when you integrate a device, right? We pop this screen saying like, where do you want to put it? So you put it on the correct area.
Yeah.
Just going to turn off the lights. And I didn't change the automation. You didn't see me at all changing any automation, any type of automation. Just going to put back the camera big. And now, 2 lights that are turning on instead of 1 and a new sensor. And the automation, basically, because it's just a behavior of a room itself, I didn't have to do anything. The room itself has the same behavior, but I changed 66% of the devices that are using this automation. But because the automation itself does not mention any device at all, then it's still going to work. I could even put the 2 motion sensors in 2 different places of the area and say like, I want both of them, and this would work.
Yeah, and we did it we didn't reload automations either, right? Like the triggers just automatically detected that something got added to the area,
Yes,
and so was
exactly.
able to pick it up. So you really start to not automate devices, you automate rooms, you automate floors, you automate more like concepts. And when you move things around, entity IDs don't really matter anymore. Just make sure you have the right area set and automate on that.
Just one small question. Sorry, someone asked, shouldn't the dashboard also reflect this? Actually, one dashboard does reflect this. We have the the overview dashboard that Laura is going to present in a few, after. That automatically does the same thing, right? Which is categorizing and indexing your home based on where the devices are. Just that for that particular demo, it was a custom dashboard, just because I wanted to show you a bit moving things. And it was a bit more visual than having the two areas at the same time. But yes, we do have the same thing for dashboard. The idea, or kind of the philosophy of what we are doing this year, is you need to do things once. So if you want to create a behavior of a room, you do it. Then you add devices, and that's it. We provide you one way of showing this data on the dashboard. If you like it, good. If you don't, you create your own dashboard, and the automation is going to keep working.
I have a few questions,
Oh.
by the way, that I marked and start. Maybe you can go over them a little bit.
Sure. And I just
need
to not to forget to present the behavior part. But yes, go ahead.
The behavior part, yes, that's definitely true. Maybe we should do that first, because we can go from that screen with some of the questions too.
Sure. I can present this. If you think about it, targeting something big, for example, turn on the light on the first floor. Let's say close the cover on the first floor. I have 3 covers on my first floor. When you think about it, there is nothing complex about that. We just basically perform the same action on every target. So all of the covers are going to close. If you think about it, for triggers and for conditions, it's not that simple. Because what does it mean when a light turns on the first floor, knowing that you may have 15 lights, right? I can create, let me just give you an example. I can say first floor, when the lights turn on, I have 9 lights there. Do you want one trigger every time one light turns on because you want to do something specifically? For example, I don't know, an announcement or whatever. This makes not a lot of sense feature-wise. Or do you want to trigger it once? If you want to trigger it once, you want to trigger it when the first light turns on, so when the area itself becomes lit, or do you want when the last light turns on, which basically means all of the lights are on? This is the idea behind the behavior, more or less. And we have the same for conditions, except that for condition, they are named differently because they make sense. We spend a lot of time actually thinking about that. That was fairly difficult to understand. It's a bit simpler to explain. So for a condition, you can, for example, if a light is on my first floor, you can say if any lights are on, so 1, 2, or 3, or 9, or if all of the lights are on. So this is kind of the behavior. You change a bit the behavior of how and when you want to trigger and when you want to check something.
Exactly.
This is going to become interesting. For example, like if I were very precise about my automation, it should be when the first occupancy sensor detects motion, turn on the light, and when the last one clears, turn off the light. So that if you really have 15 occupancy sensors in your house, in your floor, you can walk around, and it's going to trigger only once because at least always one will be detected, and when you leave the house, the room, one of them will basically clear last. That will be the one that will trigger the automation. I think it's fairly advanced, but it is important to understand what it is.
Hey, JLo, one of the questions that just on the screen, can you just show the YAML?
Yeah, sure. So they are really new triggers and new conditions, right? We try to make sure that they were easy to understand also on YAML. So, for example, the trigger on YAML is called light turned on, and the condition is called light is on. Yeah, sure. Light turned on and light is on. Yeah. With Frank, what we are trying to do is kind of making sure that there is a naming convention that will be easy to follow if you are only writing YAML, right? So, for example, it's going to be light turned on, light turned off, cover. Well, I need to talk about cover because we did something particular about cover, but let's say it could be like opened or closed, or is open or is closed, or open or closed, like these kind of things. So we are trying to make sure that it is easy to understand.
We want to make it sound natural, even in YAML,
Yeah.
right? We did the same thing, and that's why we also have trigger, right? In our platform, as it was back in the day, we always
was
tried to
platform.
make the whole YAML experience more natural, and we want it to match to whatever is there. So light dot turned on is like it happened, where is on is like asking if it was the case, while light dot turn on is an action,
Yeah.
do it, turn it on, right? So it's all worded and made just as you expect it to be. And the way actions work now actually just works in triggers and conditions as well. The syntax
Yeah.
is very similar and basically unchanged. I do want to stress something that we actually didn't say. Nothing breaks. If you switch
yeah.
to this and you turn this on, all your existing automations will keep working. We have never broken automations in such a
And-
way. Our automation engine has been working like this for the 8.5 years I'm with the project. If I would pick up an
Yeah.
automation from 8.5 years ago, you can still load it in. It will still
Actually,
work.
I'm even going to go further. The state trigger, numerical state trigger, state condition, and numerical state condition is not going anywhere.
Nope.
Because these triggers, and I saw a comment saying like you automate the intent. Actually, we wanted to call them intent, trigger, and condition. The only problem is that we already have a word called intent for the voice. It's sad because this is really it. These triggers are not going to cover 100% of the case. If you really want to trigger on something very particular of the state machine that you understand, state trigger, go ahead. Like no problem, and this is always going to be there. So the state trigger, the numerical state trigger, they are not going anywhere.
Can you add it just to
Uh,
show where it is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So add trigger, they are on the trigger more or less, and we have like entity states. Like it was the same thing, right? This list is becoming bigger because now we are listing all of the triggers, and so yeah, alarm control panel, climate, and light are now actually exposing triggers. This
Have
is
you
new
seen
thing,
alarm
right?
control panel? I like that one, for
Yeah,
example,
exactly,
if you
yeah.
have one.
Super simple, right? So we decided to make more triggers that are more granular, but that are dead simple to configure because there is nothing to configure. So if you have an alarm and you want to say like, I want to automate when I'm going away, that's it. One click, it's done. You pick your entity, you should have only one, so that's it. That's my alarm, and that's it. If you want to do the same thing on a state trigger, you can, and actually if you understand the state machine, it's going to be as simple. But for a beginner, right? So it's going to look like this, entity, state, you need to pick your alarm. And then you need to say to armed away. So it is not that complex. And for this type of things, yeah.
You now need to take into account unavailable and unknown.
Yeah, so in this case, you need to actually, if you want to be very precise, you need to go to YAML and say like something like this.
This is part of the problem we're solving, right? Like having no longer to worry about all these things because the new triggers that are provided are all taking care of things like this for you.
Yeah, exactly. So that these are now fairly similar, except that this is clearly targeting an entity. This one is also, but I could also just target the whole floor. And so if I change my alarm, then nothing would break. I cannot do that on my side, by the way, because my alarm is hidden. So if I just pick an area, it's going to be 0 entity. But that's on my side. This is because I want my alarm to be hidden. It's on me.
A few things. One, you've been using floors the whole time. Can you just show an example how you can target like 2 devices or 2 lights?
Yeah. For example, you can, for example, I can make the reverse automation. So when that particular light turn on, do something. So I can go to my demo desk. I can pick the light. So this is the light, for example. And I can just say like, I can stop at the device, for example. I can say like this device turn on, or I can even go to the entity. In this case, to be honest, it's going to be the same thing because this device has only one light and just turn on. If I want to add another target, I can just say, oh, also that device, like that fairy light in my bedroom. Any of them. Or actually the first one that's going to turn on. Or the last one that's going to turn on. I only want it trigger when all of them are on.
Nice.
I saw the question, can you add labels? Yes, you can.
Yeah, so
with the same way, right? You can add a target and then just select a label.
Yeah, actually they are there at the end. I don't think I will be able to find any triggers because most of my labels are used for automations and we don't have triggers for automation.
Yep.
Actually,
Oh,
sorry,
there
I
you
have one, which is actually that's actually super interesting. I have a label that is labeling all of the media players that are used for audio, because I'm using it for like a crazy complex template, and now I can basically have when they stop playing audio. If you ask yourself why stop and why not play, that's the lab. We didn't do it. We are actually creating these triggers as we go.
Yep.
So this one is going to trigger after one or more media players stop playing media. And I can choose when like this will be like basically no more music is playing in my house. This will be one room stop playing music in my house, and this will be like I want every media player to trigger as soon as they stop playing media, so that I can do something on the room, for example.
So, oh yeah, this exactly. I was going to highlight that one. What if the labs gets turned off, JLo?
The automation breaks, and you see it. So this I can show you actually. Save. So this one is a bit weird, but actually I don't need to save it because I have one. Give me a sec. So you have this automation that is using two new triggers that do not exist if the lab feature is turned off. If I go to the lab and I disable, there is a specific screen that explains you what's happening if you are disabling that. And one of them is basically that the new triggers and conditions will fail. So before disabling it, ensure that your automation and scripts do not rely on this feature. I'm going to do it anyway. I think that maybe we are going to detect it. No, but it is now red, I think. It should be red. That's a bug, I think.
No, it already gives an error.
I was thinking that this would be like the whole automation would be red itself. You know what I mean, Frank?
Yes, it will happen after restart of Home Assistant because they can not actively download it, but they don't function anymore. So in the next restart, I think they're gone.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
So
once they're injected into the system, you cannot unload it without a restart. But the automation itself will no longer function.
Actually, yes. No, the automation. Okay, we have a small bug. The automation works.
It just works.
Yes. The automation works.
Okay, well, that's also a way.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It should not work, but yeah, the automation literally works. I'm just going to.
I guess
enable
nobody
that
tested
afterwards.
that either.
Yeah.
Anyway, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
So next question for me: when do things graduate from labs?
I estimate that we have about 200 triggers and conditions to create, roughly, I think. And we are going slow because we don't want to make mistakes, especially when the same, I'm going to use the word intent because I really like it. The same intents can be found on multiple domains. So for example, when a door closes, you could have a small binary sensor, like a contact sensor on your door, but you could also have like a motorized door. It does exist. The cover domain does support doors. We want to make sure that we have only one of them because these triggers are supposed to be human readable. So I really want to be able to provide one of them that is called door closes that supports covers and binary sensors, for example. So we are going slow. I don't want to estimate a date. The only thing that I can say right now is that it's not going to be next release, for example. We're not going to solve everything in 1 month. It's going to keep being on the lab, and we are going to just add triggers and conditions on that lab.
It's also, by the way, going to be very short release, right? Because there's going to be Christmas holiday, people are off, like all that stuff. So
yeah, January release is actually just JLo and I believe.
No, Laura will be there also.
Yeah, that's actually a nice little segue there because CES is happening in Las Vegas in the beginning of January. Frank will be there. I will be there. A bunch of others of our team will be there. And if you happen to be in Vegas, we're going to host a meetup. So it will be Wednesday, 6 p.m. Location to be announced.
Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay, well, there
it's
you go.
January 6th. Yeah.
January 6th, Tuesday. Yes. So there's it's going to be a meetup. If you are in Vegas, come hang out with us.
Will be fun.
Yeah.
Last year was super fun, so I'm looking forward to this year's.
Yeah, and like, the nice one about this meetup is that there's going to be a bunch of the YouTubers going to be there as well, right? So
Yeah.
last year we had DigiBlur, the Home Assistant podcast, the Hookup was there,
Dr.
Dr.
Z's.
Z's was there. Yeah. So
Those
Apollo was
absolutely is.
there. So yeah.
Jerry, don't
Definitely,
forget Jerry.
Okay, Cherry.
Don't
And his
don't forget Jerry.
blinds.
Yeah,
Just
of course,
whip 'em.
Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry will be there. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. Oh man, you guys keep going on with questions on this stuff.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, right? This one I find good. Is there a Labs channel on Discord to chat about new triggers?
Not yet.
No. However,
Yeah. That's going to be an
however,
interesting one. I don't know. We haven't discussed yet where the channel's going to fit.
I wouldn't opt for a channel. To be fair, we do have a project channel where we talk about these things. One of the things that was raised during beta, which we haven't discussed and processed yet, but besides the feedback button and the report button, we could have a chat button too that brings you to the channel that matches to this. Because the Labs feature is also extendable by custom integrations, for example.
Yeah.
If they want to do a custom Labs feature, they might want your feedback and chat in a different way, for example. So this is something we haven't figured out yet, but definitely something on the radar.
There is no central place for labs. There is a central place for new triggers, and we are calling it automation and scripts. There is a project channel for automation and scripts. And I think it should stay that way because the labs is supposed to be there to provide, to generate feedback for many different areas of the product. And so I actually don't want, it would be weird to have a labs channel, knowing that the content of that channel would change release after release.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
the big thing for it was, were we going to keep it alive in the project space or were we going to bring it more into the regular support space? But I think you guys are right. It makes more sense living in the project space where we do all of our building work. And then the devs are already in there. So the devs who are building stuff, maybe for their custom integrations, they'd actually see reports there too. So no, that makes a lot of sense. So I'll make sure there's an announcement in the Discord server on where everything is. You'll guys be able to see it in the community updates channel because that's where we put most of our updates for the community.
Mm-hmm. There's a better question. To be fair, there was somebody else who asked it, which I marked, but this one came just in. I think it's better worded. Is our lab features going to get updates outside of major releases? So could it happen in point releases? I don't know. In general, our rule is not to ship new features in patch releases. That's the general rule. We haven't talked about changing the rule for this specific feature, but I find it an interesting thought, actually.
It would also depend on if there was a custom integration that was doing it too, right? Like they would probably release updates that are separate from that.
They do, but are we adding, because this, the other question that was started was similar, was this one, if you add new conditions, can they be used and will they appear in sub-releases?
I still think that, I mean, we need to like have a coherent story, and a lab feature is quality tested. So for me, a lab feature has to go through beta, and for me, this means that we do not update lab features during a point release.
We will definitely ship fixes in lab features.
Yes, fixes.
Always. That is always. We will ship that every single Friday. For people that still think that it's some kind of magic that we ship because something is broken. No, we just ship every Friday. That's the goal. So point one will happen upcoming Friday because the time is done Friday. Right? Yeah, I think that's it. There are many positive reactions here, to be fair. Like, heck yeah, so glad I didn't need to use config groups anymore. Definitely true. That's needed less. Now you can target. New interface is looking good. Compliments there. And somebody else is happy that they got their CB2 delivered. So that's
nice.
All right. Anything more on either labs or automations? Because we're almost an hour in and we just had a single feature. Just saying, basically.
That's wild. That's how big this release is.
No, nothing. I will stop talking forever.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true. And we have more guests in here to talk about new features that are shipping. I'm not sure if who wants to go first. Like, the order doesn't really matter, but we have today Laura here for dashboards, and we have Petar here for graphing and energy.
Well, and I'm here
Oh, Paulus is
Oh.
here too.
for the.
For the At Least Weather contest.
Oh, yeah, for the games. But yeah,
And you're here. Indeed, we have some features to.
I shipped the feature. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have. We want to dive in. That might be a nice intermezzo.
It's a
to
tiny
be
one.
fair.
It's just a appetizer.
Let's do it.
Appetizer to the big work. Okay, yeah. Can somebody put my screen on the?
Yes, I will. There
All
we
right.
go.
So we shipped a tiny new feature to help you understand what is going on under the hood when you use LLMs in Home Assistant. So as you know, this is in settings, voice assistants. If you open a voice assistant screen, you can hit A. You can just type to it. I'm talking to. I think this is what am I even talking to? ChatGPT 5.1 Mini.
This is a reasoning model, no? You are using the 5 suit then?
I just changed it for the demo here. I'm not
Okay.
even. That's probably
Because
why.
like I know it was just more like a curiosity question. I'm stuck on 4 because everything else is reasoning, and I don't want reasoning because then it takes 15 seconds to turn on the lights. They do turn it well, but I don't want this.
Yeah. No, I use GPT 4.0 normally, but back to my demo. So when you ask a question like what lights are on, right? Like the AI is thinking it's getting some data from somewhere and it's going to answer. Now, yes, this is the reasoning model. So
Yeah, it's a reasoning model.
Want me to turn any of these off? I'm going to not say yes because this is actually my production instance. But maybe if we get the wrong answer here, you'll be like, oh, how did it happen? Why did we not get what we wanted? So now you can go to debug, and there's a few new bubbles here in this interaction. Previously, you would only see what lights are on, and you would see the answer and nothing in between. By the way, what you just saw, and actually I should have shown it, we format Markdown now in the assist dialog in the browser, which is a new feature as well that we launched.
That's cool.
So the first thing is the way large language models work is that it's always done by prompting, right? You give it basically a whole document with instructions. You can now look at those instructions. You are a voice assistant for Home Assistant. Answer questions about the words truthfully. Answer in plain text. As you could see, it just ignores that one. We always try. Not a single LLM listens. It's not able to start timers because we're in the browser. The browser doesn't support timers, right? Compared to like a voice preview edition. Now there's some extra data. This is actually some data in your house, like where is stuff located. I have an air conditioning in my living room. The fan also.
I like the fact that like in many companies, the system prompt is like super guarded behind closed door, and like you need to jailbreak everything to get it. And here it's like, this is it.
You can actually change, right? You can update it. It's up to you, like even with templates. So what happened here is that when we talked to the AI, it actually called a tool. It said, give me the live context. You can see the parameters that were passed. There were no parameters passed. And then it will actually return the state of my house. So an overview of the areas and devices, just a bunch of YAML, what's going on. And the result is, it looked at it, saw all the lights, it saw the states. We need to put the Markdown rendering here, I guess, too. But you can see the basement hallway light is on, the Christmas tree is on, and in the office, the lights are on, which are the ones above me. And of course, the response want me to turn any of these off. So that took a total of 7.3 seconds because of the reasoning. But yeah, now you have insight. So if this answer was wrong or you're tuning with your prompt to see how it all looks in, you no longer have to go into like the logging and stuff. It can just go in the debug assistant. So tiny new quality of life feature for anyone using AI that should be very helpful.
Did you see on Mastodon, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, someone enabled an LLM into Home Assistant and it kind of went off the rails and had an existential crisis? There was a whole thread. Like one of my friends shared it with me. It was very funny. And if they would have had this, they would have been able to find out why it went off the rails. Yeah. So just in time to save people from getting their LLMs too exposed.
An hallucinating LLM in your smart home is the best thing that can happen to you, by the way, just saying. At least you can know why and refine, I guess.
I see, by the way, one question from Adonis. Does it work also to debug voice assistant PE interactions with LLM? Yes. Any interaction with assistants in a Home Assistant can go through this debug screen and you can interact with it. So, yep. And you can, if you go on the top, you can have different interactions, right? So you can go back. So if somebody already talked to the voice assistant in between, you can still go back up to 10 interactions. All right.
Awesome.
Short but sweet.
That was a nice intermezzo, to be fair. Nice, thank you, Paulus. La, you wanna go?
Sure. Okay, so we are going with dashboards now. So
Oh yeah,
we
sorry.
shipped a lot.
I should introduce that. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Like everyone knows me. I am what I am. It's fine. So yes, it's. I'm actually really excited for this release because it's already building up to something that I really like. Is for the past couple of releases, we started implementing this home dashboard that was meant to test what could happen if we started creating some kind of default experience that could work for you out of the box. What happens if we start imagining our built-in experiences as some ways of taking you off the hassle of having to create a dashboard if you don't really want that customized experience and you just want to be inspired and a little bit guided into what could be what's really happening in your house at several levels, right? And now we're finally moving a bit further in the sense of now we have these built-in experiences. We now have the climate dashboard. We have the security dashboard. Of course, we have the energy dashboard that Peter is going to present later, the changes. And then we have this home landing experience that are still really good presets. We did some changes there. We updated some things, but they are completely different to your custom experiences that are another stream. You can always customize, go completely personalizing what you need and make it completely your own. So what we did is we built a couple of things that are going to make this relationship easier and are going to make you handle things a bit more easier. One of them that I'm really happy that we finally have is the ability to set your default entry point of dashboard to be per system, per instance, and not depend on the browser, because we all know how annoying it is to have to open the 11th browser just to find that people are arriving somewhere and it's not the place that you want them to arrive, which is normally a guest or it's a tablet or something and it's somewhere clean, something easy. So if you beam me up, JLo, I can show you.
Frank.
Oh, Frank,
Yes.
sorry.
Sorry, no worries. Here we
It's
go.
fine. So if you go to your dashboard settings, you see that now it's a bit more visible which one is the default one. In this case, as many of you, I do have an overview that is no longer overview. It's a custom dashboard that used the initial version of this all devices overview many moons ago. But now I can go here and I can set any of the built-in or the ones that I created myself as default very easily. For example, the one that everyone suspects will be taken. Ta-da. And it's, hey, just FYI, if you're not watching this party, this will be instance and global. And it's automatically replaced. But this is not just for home. This is not a way for us to push that you need to make home your default, because we really don't need to do that. This could happen with your lights. Then your lights can be your default. And then it can also be your energy, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of us want to check our energy first things, right? But sorry, it's a new mouse. I keep clicking the wrong buttons all the time. You can also go here and say, okay, for I have my own internal climate dashboard, it makes sense. It pops up here, right? One thing, if it's already in the sidebar, it will disappear and appear at the very top. If it's not in the sidebar, it will just appear at the top and not be shown. And all these built-in dashboards that we currently have, with the exception, of course, of energy that it's already here, are not default shown in the sidebar. So again, the sidebar is, sorry?
So if you pick the default here,
Yes.
that would be then the default for the whole system.
Yes, the default for the whole instance for everyone here, unless they have customized their own default for their user. So this
And how
is
do you do that? How do
I'm
you-
going to show you now.
Yeah.
This is the other new thing. So it's like, in order to be able to do this broad and not break absolute everyone's experience, we have like a parallel way of doing this, which is you go to your user, and then you go here. If I remember what it is, because I have terrible memory, here. Your dashboard. It's default set to auto normally, but then you can think, no, I still want this user to keep overview, and overview is still here. And
this is per user, yes?
per user, and per user, I can also rearrange or hide anything happening in the sidebar. So with this, all combined, what you gain is total control of what you can get. So what would be like my personal recommendation is that you can keep your defaults for the things that you expect people to land without context. For example, if you have tablets or wall displays that are not specific, that they're just there meant for people not familiar with your house to be able to interact with that guests or family members. Or the one that when you give access to someone because it's a guest or they're visiting for some time or they're a friend that they're used to it, and you don't want them to be like too busy with a very busy experience that is not really meant for anything. You can just put the default experience. It's going to look nice. It's going to show a bit of everything. And then you can have in your own personal account that it's an admin and the thing works for you. You can have like your own specific landing. And since it's user-based, it will work for all your browsers in your user. So it's no longer browser-based in any case. But this is just my idea. Like if you want to do it the other way around or you want to check for something more specific, it's fine. It's a playground. But it's true, when we were discussing this during development, and again, thanks a lot for joining the Discord channel dashboards. If you're not there, please do. I'm getting a lot of feedback and I love it. It's true that we need to make this flexible and manageable. So whatever we do with the default experiences, you always have the ability to choose and to make this and not to have the default experiences be in your way. So this is one thing.
So Laura, I have a naive
Yes.
question. I have a dashboard that I use
Yes.
in my car,
Yes.
for example. How would I make sure that that browser gets that default dashboard?
So which account do you have in your car?
For now, it's mine.
Yeah, I would recommend you create an account, a different account.
That's simple, right?
And
I'm just create a user.
it's the simplest way. It's not only simplest, it's the safest. Because whatever else you do, you're prone to that something happens, is the cache is something else, and then everything changes. If it's something that is specific for a use case, I recommend a user.
Actually, it's even smarter because I have a different theme also because I want the screen a bit bigger, etc.
Yeah.
So I just create a user. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
and we
not
don't
just
charge
that.
per user, right?
No, no seat pricing here.
Yeah.
No, but in general, it's better too, right? Because things that happen in your house are logged and accredited in the activity book by the user that did it. If you have a wall display, and I would use my own account, it would look like everybody that touches display, if like I did it, it would be way more useful also to see that it's accredited because somebody touched the wall display and turned on the lights, right? You know that it was done through the wall display. The same goes, I guess, for the car. Like in my household, the car is used by multiple people, right? So I would know that it was controlled from the car instead at that point instead of the user.
Okay, no, thank you.
And again, we all go back to like the information architecture that we want to get. So second thing, we as you can see now in this new home landing experience that we have, and in other places, we have your floors or your areas mapped a certain way. So we kept hitting ourselves against the wall of how do I make this more manageable? This doesn't make sense, right? Why should the floors be attic, first floor, second floor? Why should my areas be in a specific order? There's no default for that. There's no way that we can guess what's the best way to organize your house, because depending on where you are in the world, what's the situation where you live, it's going to be completely different. So what we introduced instead is, let me see if I'm doing it correctly. Yes. So what we're doing here is we introduce this little option here, which is pre-order floors and areas. So click here. You actually see like all your floors and all your areas, and it's as easy as to say, hey, by the way, for me, the hall is much more important than the main bedroom, for example. Yes, my hall is in the top floor. It's a long story. And then I can also reorganize my floors, right? So my main floor makes more sense with my living room on top, right? This represents my house. I click on save, and it's done. And you know the best part of it is that if I go back to my dashboard, and I to my home dashboard, I see, spoiler, this is what we've done with the design, but I can see that now the order actually makes sense to what makes sense to me. But again, going back to the information architecture topic, it's not that I create an edit button in a dashboard that will allow you to change the order of your areas. Either I ask you, okay, how are the areas in your house organized? This is something you should be doing once, maybe twice, maybe a few times, but it's not meant to be a dashboard-centric decision. It's something that you should be able to say once, and it should be enough for us to say, okay, this is the distribution of your house. Any comments? Sorry, I speak super fast and I never let anyone pitch in, so.
No, it's all freaking clear. I like the fact you can now reorder this, to be fair, and that it shows that way.
So there was one question somebody asked, is this
Yes.
system or user based? Is it system based, right?
It's
so
system-based, yes.
Generally, just a general rule of thumb, when we go to the settings screen to make changes, it's for everyone.
And if it's in your profile, it's for you.
However,
Exactly, yes.
the question does make sense, I think. Not for now, but it does make sense.
Yeah, I think it's at some point when we start really exploring what makes sense per user, it will make sense to request in some of these things if they should be tweaked or nuanced. But I still believe that there should be a strong core in that you can configure what your house looks like. And it's not alphabetical, and it's not numerical.
I mean, the challenge we have that, like, if you try to make everything make perfectly sense for everyone, you end up with 1,000 options, and nobody will ever find those options. And like, then we're in a different problem, right? So
balance is always a tricky part, to be fair.
Sorry.
What I didn't catch you doing, but on the areas dashboard, besides going all in the top to that little menu, if you're in the desktop, you can't just do it. You can't just drag and drop directly on that screen.
Yes. Where am I?
I like that because for years we've talked about drag and drop, and of course we put it in everything now.
Yes, it's here. The truth is, the reality is that we also added it here at the top in a floating menu, in an overflow menu, because it can be a bit challenging UX wise if you're trying to organize items and the list is long. It totally depends on how your house is. So we don't want to break this too much. It's available. So if you want to make like a really quick change and it's like, oh snap, this needs to be perfect. It works nicely. But you could see, like, if you start to try to like move it like super big, it's not that it doesn't work. It just becomes cumbersome just because you have one block that you need to drag.
And it doesn't work on
one too many
mobile.
places.
Also mobile.
Yeah, also mobile. Yes. So it's like an alternative, but this is there. It's there. It's not going anywhere, and it works. So yeah. Okay.
BNB is definitely there. That's for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
We put it.
Finally, just FYI, we improved a little bit what we have been calling our home landing experience. This landing experience now has a pretty neat sidebar. And this sidebar is meant to divide a little bit what's supposed to happen here. So this is the master default, let's say, like what you should be able to see to understand what's currently happening in your home without any kind of context, and what are the basics to control, right? And hopefully at some point we will be adding a couple things here to get you inspired on what you could potentially be doing next. So maybe, I don't know, if remind you there are some updates available if you're an admin and you're logged in, and a lot of other criteria that we need to think. Or maybe, hey, if you have devices that are not assigned to any area, well, maybe we can remind you here that that could potentially be done. We need to explore that. But for now, what we have is a left, sorry, I got a bit dyslexic for a second, a left area where you have your controls, you have all your areas as you had before, and you have this little section that has all the favorites and the common controls like they were in the past, that you can edit it here. By the way, we added this little nudge here to the area reordering. So if you don't happen to remember here, there's always a little access. But yeah, here I can edit all my favorite entities and they will all show up here. It's a way to gain some kind of control, even though I'm going to show you some defaults. If not, this is going to be populated with a very nice feature that we have. There are common controls. There are entities that are controls that we know by the time of day and the user that make sense to you based on your existing pattern of use. And then this all meant for controlling and checking state. And then we have this.
Just one thing. It's because I'm seeing the screen. Do you mind just zooming out for like just a few seconds and then zooming in again, because you are talking about the sidebar, but it is
doesn't barely
half. Yeah. So it just so to show that
sorry,
it is a sidebar on the side.
Yes, sorry,
you can zoom in again.
I
just wanted to show that it was a sidebar. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I think it's pretty. The size is nice for this one here. If not, I will zoom in a little bit. But it's true. If not, it looks like a cut in the middle. This is a very unnatural look. Normally, the look would be like this. Sorry. Very good point. Yes, basically the left side is the dashboard itself, where you see the common control, you see the distribution, and to the right you have the sidebar when you can check FYI things that are interesting for you to check, accesses for navigation, like what we used to have on top: lights, climate, security, media players. A quick thing of what's happening. You know, you have 20 lights on. Okay, you need to check that later. What's the average temperature what's the range of temperature having in at home? I have sensors in the garage that was 15 degrees. The security, media player, and then we have weather, we have the energy distribution, and that's here. This is not the end. Like, the idea is that this For You section could potentially be more things that might be meaningful to you and that makes sense for you to find the first time that you join.
I think those 20 lights are all behind you, by the way, just saying.
Hey, don't blame poor Jamelcito.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Jamelcito is only one flag, surprisingly.
Somebody asked if you can use the For You card in other dashboards.
I think it's not a card. The For You is a column. It's a different from the component. I think it could potentially be available in YAML, but I don't really know how it's going to behave yet, because it works exactly for this. It's not meant like to be component for now.
What we're doing right now is that we're really kind of experimenting in this dashboard.
Yeah.
We're trying not to push too many things into being reusable pieces, because we want to be able to break it, right? Like, we want to be able to, move it around. Like, these summaries, they used to be in line, right? Like, between common controls and the floors, now they're on the right, right? We want to be able to have this freedom right now to be flexible in how we do things.
And still iterate as well, right? Make it better. There was a mention in the blog post that I think we should highlight, because you showed it. You showed the features of the favorites. Sorry, why am I stuck on features? Labs stuff. Anyways, the favorites. You showed the favorites. There's a possibility, if I understood it right, that when you upgrade and you have used this dashboard before, that you might lose your favorites. Okay.
Yes. The thing is, like, before, let me show you in context. It would be easier here. So one of the things that we did to make this separation between the buildings and the customs is, before, for testing this home dashboard, what we did is we created basically like a strategy here. You could have here home, that it's no longer here, because we graduated it outside as a built-in dashboard, right? So before, it was just a template, let's say. You click on it, you added it, and it would make changes. Now it's migrated to its whole built-in dashboard that will appear in all the instances. Not by default, not first, not visible in sidebar, but will appear in this list. This change makes that if you have added the favorites on top in the previous releases, you might lose them. If you click on this, they will not be there. But if you had created a home page before, it will probably still show here below.
Did
I
we
don't know
already
if it
show the
has.
mobile view, Laura?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me see if I can. Like this. Okay. I'm going to do something very monstrous, which is simulate a mobile view with my desktop.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Pretend that the margins are not, because this is fake, is my screen, but yes. So the navigation here is also a bit different. We wanted both places to have their own space. We didn't want to hide the sidebar or to cram it into one view. So if you're going in phone, the way you have to change this access is
So nice.
yes.
That's
It's
beautiful.
incredibly cool.
Hey, somebody asked, like, can we remove these dashboards?
Yeah, so I mean, I always quickly answer in the chat, but yeah, we cannot remove these dashboards. They are built-in dashboards, like the energy dashboard. The way we see these, the home dashboard, is that it is right now just a choice, right? So you have to change your default to the home dashboard. Only then will it show up in the sidebar, and then once you are from this dashboard, you can navigate to other built-in dashboards like lights, climate, security, which is just a catch-all, like, hey, I want to see this aspect of my house, right? These are not user-built dashboards, ones that you can customize. If you want to customize dashboards, we have a whole dashboard engine.
Yeah.
You can build those, right? But this is where we are making sure we have a good onboarding or an experience for people that don't want to spend time yet on customizing their dashboards, to feel at home, be able to understand their house. And so, yeah, do you want to link to these dashboards from your own dashboard? You can do it. Do you want to put them in your sidebar? You will be able to do it, or set as default, but yeah, you cannot delete them.
For people that are watching on Facebook, we just got informed that we have an issue streaming to Facebook, and that the stream might not be.
Oh, it actually
quality.
dropped out of Facebook, literally. I think
Okay.
Miss is on it.
Oh, it's fully on. It's fully gone. Okay, then in that case, this message will not end up with them. Let's stop with that.
And they are back, actually.
It should be back in a second.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back.
If you're
Everybody
on
says hello
Facebook,
to Facebook.
yeah, no. Hi, Facebook. Sorry about that. There's an
All
issue
right.
with the stream. Got blocked. You should be good now.
I just
There's-
have one. Sorry.
Go ahead. Well,
No, I just have one extra note. As we've been doing the past releases, I'm linking in the release notes survey. If you add it and test all the features that I've been sharing, I would love if you take like 5 minutes to just reply to the survey, even if you already replied it in the last couple of releases. It's a way that I have to keep a temperature check with the rest of the team and see how we are going, besides the conversations in Discord, besides everything else, to keep us aligned in how we are doing and how it's our trajectory. So I personally really appreciate it.
Laura, there is a nice question. And
Yes.
I think, Frank just flagged it, so that's mine. You
Yeah.
can display it. And I think it's interesting also to understand why it's not possible for kind of the future or where you want to go.
You can take ownership of the home dashboard. You mean take over?
Yeah.
So the overview dashboard you could take control of, but not the home
Yes.
dashboard.
No, this is not possible to take over right now. I mean, I can't remember if in the very, very early POCs at some point there was still the option, but from I think a couple of releases ago, it's no longer possible because one of the issues of taking over is that it's a template. It's no longer the built-in default experience that we can evolve on top of it. So it makes sense that it's not possible to take over this.
in all fairness, if you want to build something custom, do it.
Yeah.
Like nothing stops you from it. we don't force that on anybody. Like, people create the most beautiful and awesome
Yes.
dashboards out there. Like, there are whole threads on it on Reddit and Facebook and community forums. There are huge collections of it. Some like, well, taste differs between people, but there's just a lot of stuff to be found there, and you can go all in if you want to, right? In the end, this experience is being created for people that start using Home Assistant for the first time. Building a Home Assistant is huge. It's already a lot to take in. If you remember your own first experience with Home Assistant, you probably remember how a lot of things came to you. And we're trying to make those experiences better for first-time users specifically, or for people that simply do not want to build their own custom dashboard. Like, if I look at it myself, I'm UI-wise just a disaster. This is more for me, although I do like very advanced automation, so I probably use the state and numeric straight trigger a lot, even though we build these new ones, because that's more fitting to the use cases I want and the things that interest me personally. Dashboards is very similar, right? If you want to go all in, do it. If you like to build your own voice assistant with the weirdest things ever and your own AI, Home Assistant allows you to do that. That's in the end the thing we want to do. So giving a good out-of-the-box experience that will help a lot of people getting started with Home Assistant is what is here. And if you like it for future use, keep using it. And if you like some custom, be our guest.
Yeah, and actually it's customizing your dashboards, creating custom dashboards is never going to be a second-class citizen. It's a core feature that is very key to what we do and what we have. We are I'm just focusing a bit more into the default experiences because we didn't have a lot of good experiences out of the box. But I don't think there's like a plan to make these evolve to a point that they are taking over the customized experiences, because the reality is the customizing is really cool. Like, creating your own dashboard is one of the best experiences you can do at Home Assistant, and there's no way I'm taking that out of the roadmap ever. Okay.
I do want to be a little bit aware of time, but there's another dashboard feature we haven't talked about yet, which is we brought a feature into which was contributed by JP actually. And he added that in last release for the automation editor, and I'll add it into dashboard. It's very nice, but you have to go into a custom dashboard for this one. So I'm not sure if you have one or could create a new dashboard for the demo is fine too. Like,
I have one ready if you want, Laura, just so you know.
If you have one ready, go for it. Yes.
Okay,
so
let me.
I'm going to do something. So that's my nice dashboard. Actually, I'm not going to go to that screen. Otherwise, I'm going to dox myself. Give me a sec. I'm going to go to that one. That's my dashboard. I'm going to do something that would have been kind of dramatic last release, which is I'm going to delete this and delete this and maybe delete this. I can undo now. Click, click, click.
Nice.
Right. Undo and redo on dashboard. As simple as that. Actually, sorry, for the automation last time I came ready. I know exactly the rules. I don't know the rules. I don't know. I don't know how long the stack is. I don't know a lot of things. I just know that
75
is working. Same, okay, 75. And I guess if 75. You click done, it's over. So
I got the
I can redo. If I do this and do this, I can redo. Yeah, so it's the same rules of the automation.
Yeah. I got a question in the Home Assistant podcast, like, why 75?
If you know, you know, and no one does. That's the answer.
Let's go. That is it. Oh, that's very nice. Let me remove this one here. We had the ownership question. I think we're pretty much through the questions. And since we're an hour and a half in now, I do want to make a little bit of speed up because we have Pilar here as well. Thank you, Laura, for showing the dashboards. It's exciting where it's going. There are plans to make it the real default dashboard, by the way, which we're working towards, right? That has always been the goal of this one. Do you have any idea when that would happen?
Next patch release.
No.
No, this is. I would love to start making this a reality in January, but very, very carefully and with a plan of not disrupting anyone if we can avoid it. Like, if you have already customized your experience, you should not have to put up with me putting suddenly the home dashboard on top of everything. So we want to be careful and do something that is respectful for everyone's experience. No need to panic.
So if you upgrade this release, there's no need to worry. If you upgrade next
No.
release, we shouldn't be worrying either.
Yeah.
Like we will take care of that in a very nice way. But this release, nothing will change automatically. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So it's safe
100%.
to upgrade if that is one of the worries you might have had. All right. I want to switch over to energy actually.
Well, actually, Frank, just a small thing is that, like, if you like what we're doing, people, I know we kind of leaned into that when we did the CBT too, because that also supported our work. But if you like what we're doing, please support and buy products from our commercial partner Nabukasa. Subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud, which is the absolute best way to fund the work that we're doing here. We make sure that there are no investors, there's no loans. We are completely independent. And by supporting our work, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, which is just making cool stuff, making it all open source, and making sure we don't do evil shit, right? In fact, we actually cannot do evil shit because we're a foundation, but
it's kind of done, to be fair. But you're selling it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, support our work. We'll do more cool stuff. We'll do more live streams, more everything. So
there we go. All right.
All right.
That said, let's go into energy. I will get back to you in a minute, Paulus, because I know you have one more feature up your sleeve, actually.
One more last thing.
One more last thing, yeah. Yeah, Petter,
Okay.
take it away.
Yep. So put my screen up, please.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That. So organized.
This is our first stream, guys.
It's the first time we're doing this. We're very
So,
much getting used to this one.
We'll kind of start from the bottom up because one of the new features is water devices. So just like we have individual devices for energy, we now have downstream water meters. So you can add your washing machine, for example. They work exactly the same as for energy. They just need to be in the proper units of measurement. So you just add something here. Again, you can set a display name, select an upstream device, exactly as in energy. No difference. Then the more complicated thing is we have
Peter,
power
can you
now.
explain what is a upstream device? Because I think that it's a fairly advanced feature of energy, and I don't think that a lot of people know what they are and how they are used.
Okay, for water, it's actually easier to explain because for water, you might have your main water meter here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might have another water meter for your garden hose or for your washing machine. So you just, but I don't know how you
forgot one level, right? You forgot one level.
Yeah. One level is missing. So you might have one water meter for your whole yard, and then different water meters for different hoses if you're doing some kind of irrigation. And then your hose would have as an upstream device the meter that's for the whole yard.
Okay. So I guess for energy, I think the simplest case is breakers. Like for example, if you have like a whole breaker that is monitored, you could say all of these things are on breaker 1 and all of these ones are on breaker 2. And we support the same thing for water, even if it might be a bit like more niche, right, to have this.
Yeah.
But if
I
you
don't
do,
think it's that niche though, right? You can
know,
get one of
actually.
those. Well, there you have, for example, a device we introduced recently. It's a droplet. Droplet. It's a thing you can put on the water pipe and it will measure the flow throughput on it. And you could have your water meter in it. I have my main water meter in it, and I could install a droplet on the pipe that goes to the washing machine, right? And then all of a sudden, I have a downstream meter that measures just a part of the total of my home water usage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just for adding these here, there is a use case, like I said, garden hose. But if you're using actually upstream device here for water, then that really is niche. Then the only thing I can think of is actually irrigation, where you have multiple hoses going places or pipes. Okay, then the more complicated one is that we now have power. So everyone gets power and energy wrong. So I'm not going to attempt to explain it plainly, but talk to an LLM or something. But
wait. We should explain what power and energy is, right? So power is the amount that's being used right now, like to show the screen that you're looking to us, to play the audio, right? That is power. And energy is power over time. So basically, what has been used over an hour or over 2 hours or whatever, right? We usually use kilowatt hours as a measurement. So that's
So-
like 1,000.
The best way I find to explain this to people and to people that really not are aware would be car. If you drive at 100 kilometers an hour, which would be the power basically put in. That's the speed you have, which is the amount of energy, like consuming energy right now. While in an hour, you could just drive 100 kilometers in distance. So that's the speed over time. That's the distance, which is kilowatt hour, basically the amount of energy you've used over time.
You confuse me so much.
Really?
Yes, you
Wow.
confuse me so much because the hour is not on the same level. It's fine.
But in 30
No, I understand.
minutes, you would have made a distance of 50 kilometers if you drive 100 kilometers an hour. And so anyway, no, it's worse because we made it worse.
We made it
Yeah.
worse.
Oh,
Forget
man.
it.
Okay, so
Forget it. Use ChatGPT.
Best analogy is with water. So you have a water pipe. You fill up a bucket. The water that's in the bucket, that's your energy. The amount of water coming out of the pipe, that's your power.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Peter, president of energy. That was very
Yeah.
nice.
You know,
So bad.
there are definitely a bunch of electrical engineers in the comments right now complaining that no, energy is not like power. Energy is not like water. This is very different. But it's the meme where the stupid people and the very smart people say the same thing. That yes, electricity is exactly like water. Like, any differences are tiny and irrelevant for the most part.
There we go. Happy New Year.
Okay, so there we go. Power is instantaneous. What your device, for example, is drawing right now at this moment, and energy is accumulated over time. So we now have power for devices. It's the simplest. When you open the device now, you have a second input here where you can add a power entity. The requirements are a bit different. So it needs to have a state class of measurement and power unit of measurement, which is listed here. So if you don't see your power sensor here, it's most probably the state class.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have it on all of them? Yeah, this one doesn't have it. Okay, for devices, it's easy. For solar, it's also easy. You just go to your solar and you have an extra input. Same requirements.
That's helpful.
I have
Lots
naive
also.
question about solar, mostly because I don't use it, so I don't know if they make sense. But does it mean that that sensor goes negative if you?
No.
How does it work? Sorry, again, like a very naive question, just because I don't use solar, but I'm
Yeah,
super
for
curious.
solar and devices, it's just positive because you cannot go back in solar.
Yeah,
So
you
the
can.
export is here, actually.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so but for batteries, for example, they have back and forth charge and discharge. So this is why the power sensors of batteries is expected to go negative when the battery is being charged and positive when it's being discharged. So if you're drawing power from the battery, that's positive.
Okay.
So
Yep.
Again, same requirements, but this one can be negative.
Okay.
And then for the grid, it's even trickier because it's not on the grid energy thing here, because the grid return is also separate. So where do we put it? Well, we have to put it again here below as a third kind of type of grid source.
Yep.
So for grid sources, we have it here. You add it, and again, because you can actually get power from the grid and export to the grid, this one can be negative. And negative means that you're exporting power. You're selling energy, basically. So this is for the configuration. And in order to fit all of this new stuff in, we had to actually change the layout of the whole energy dashboard. But before everyone gets scared, if you only have energy configured, no power, no water, no gas, then you would still see your old energy dashboard, which will look like this. Without energy, water, power, but you don't have these, so you don't care. If you add any of these, then you get this new dashboard with tabs. where you get a summary with some basic stuff for each
Wow.
category.
The power source graph looks so nice when you have like everything solar and battery.
Yep. And keep in mind actually that this is a development instance, so the data is mostly synthetic. So there might be odd stuff like this here. But in order to have these tabs and some other things in the future, we have to move actually the date picker within the dashboard outside of the header. So this is a compromise. I saw actually one of the comments that was asking, well, how to change the date. Well, it's the same. It's just not up here. It's down here. Again, you have the periods. Everything is the same. And then energy is the same. We have a dedicated tab for gas. Not much here yet. Dedicated tab for water. And if you have water downstream meters, you get a Sankey chart.
Nice.
It's just nice that you can see actually like that it's similar. We had something similar for energy already, right? Like on the energy, we also have this flow, and having this for water is kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to see if I should get some of these devices to actually know how much goes to my dishwasher and washing machine. It's kind of interesting,
Yep.
to be fair.
Yeah. Since this release, I want to track water individually now.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
I have the worst
exactly.
case. I have only one. I need to track my mains water for a long time, and I'm not doing it. And I have the worst case because I have only one device that does track water, which is my washing machine. So I'm kind of left with this incomplete data, and I really want to know the whole picture. So I guess I'm going to do it also now.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so since water and gas have their own pages now, their own views, we can actually add stuff in the future, like more charts. And now the new one, power. You notice there's no date picker here because power is instantaneous. We do show the data for the day, but you really don't need more than that. And of course, it would be a lot of data if you go back a lot. So the most you need is like instantaneous, which is this chart, and the most recent data for the day. And this one is pretty cool. And we do have questions like, why is the consumption overlaid like that? Because for most people, consumption will be the same as grid, for example. And you'll wonder, why is there a black line there? But as you can see here, if you're actually charging a battery or exporting to the grid, then it's not the same.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then you can actually toggle these from the legend and do stuff like, okay, I just care about consumption and solar, just want to see how much of my consumption is covered by solar, and it's this much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so Petar, most important question, I think, about all of this. Is power included in the CSV download?
Oh,
Not
God.
right now. Nope, next release.
I could have seen that coming from miles away somehow. I don't know why I missed that.
No, I was actually thinking about this. I will have to include it, but there will probably just be this data here, not historical data.
Right. Yeah. I think it's actually going to be tricky, right? Because we break it down by the dates, like we timestamp everything in the.
Yep.
For me, my absolute favorite feature of this release, which is the nerdiest one, is the graph that Peter is showing right now. Because the Sankey chart that we had before, so the Sankey, by the way, is just the way to represent data flowing from one bucket to another, was on the energy. And energy is nice because it's like a picture of the time frame that you provided. So you go to the energy, you say, I want to see the energy for a year. And then you see where data was flowing over the year. But this one is live. This one you see like the data like changing live because it's power, and this is very geeky. I'm actually like I was cooking a meal just before, and I was looking at the Sankey chart, seeing my induction cooktop kicking in, which was very interesting. And so it's a very geeky chart, and I love it.
I too. It's a nice little deep dive, live seeing where everything is going.
Especially when you have like one big source that is kind of you can. It's interesting to see how much something consume compared to your whole house. I would say. I
Like
just started my
charging the
AC
EV.
downstairs. Yeah,
Right.
I just started the AC downstairs. I just wanted to kick in a bit, and then after I will show you, how, for example, how a Senki looks when one AC is on, and it's interesting to see how much it basically like trumps the whole graph, and that's like the one that you see right
You
now.
have that?
And then if you go to the energy dashboard, then it's a different view because it's over a long period of time. So of course, over a month, then the AC is not that big, but right now it is that big, which I find very interesting to see the difference between live data and aggregated data.
You have that
Yeah,
shared right now?
for some people that
Yeah,
have
I mean it's
limited
still
breakers,
like kicking in,
important.
but yeah, it's coming. So the AC is yellow and it's starting. So I guess it's starting a bit slow on the outside. And by the way, I have more sources, but we just show like there are lines that would be too small to show, so we don't show it. The AC is really kicking in now, so you can see how much it basically takes over the whole graph. And I guess it's going to keep kicking in. And if I go to energy and I just look at, for example, energy for, I don't know, like this month, for example, right? Or last month, because I have more data. Then my AC is in yellow. That's my AC. I'm just toggling it on and on. And here I have like, I look at about, I don't know,
That animation is
a
beautiful, by the way,
a
Petar.
fifth, a fifth of the energy. I can also see this there, right? So here I can see that over a month my biggest power consumption is my car, which makes sense, and then it's the AC because it's winter and it's heating my house. But right now it's basically like everything is basically going to the AC. And again, it's still starting up because I see like 46 kilowatts, so like more or less 460 watts, and it's basically like full speed. It's like 2,000 watts, but it takes time. So it's interesting to see the difference between what's happening now and what's happening aggregated. I do like it. This is my car charging, for example. And yeah, I don't have solar and I don't have battery, so this graph looks a bit, I don't know, sad on my side.
Compared to what Petar just
sad.
showed.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Well, but
Just
like what I like about that graph, JLo, though, is that we can see that you have some vampire draw, right? Like when you're not using your house, you're still using a bit of power, like
exactly. And I know how much it is, and I know how much it is, and I think I know where it's coming from, right? And I want to track it a bit more, but yeah, exactly.
Okay, so one important use case for power is some people have limited breakers, maybe not for the entire home, but for some room, workshop, whatever, and they want to plug in a big load, but they know they would trip the breaker, so they can look at the chart, see what's drawing power right now, turn that off, turn on the new load, whatever. Just load management is a problem for some people. Or you may be off grid and your whole house has limited power, so or you want to match your consumption to your solar because you're off grid, whatever use cases exist.
Yeah. So I just saw a cool question. Tyler Bristow's asking, so for this to work well, you put everything on smart outlets that monitor electricity. Yes, that is the way to manage electricity. And
actually,
so,
not only. Don't put anything on smart outlets because you may burn some smart outlets.
I will check the usage.
And it kind of depends on strategy. I was actually explaining that to someone that just joined my team, and he's not into smart home yet. And he was telling me, like, how do you measure energy? And I think that there is mostly three categories. You need a device that measured energy at the main, like what you are going to pay, what you're going to get billed. And this is per country, there is usually a solution. For example, the Netherlands has Home Wizard. They are a workroom assistant partner. It's a small plug. You plug it, and it just works. I think there is also more country on this one. In France, we also have a OBE kind of grade device. We just plug it and it's done. So here you get how much you are billed. If Peter goes to the energy, that would be like the first graph, which is like the major one, the big sources. But that's about it. Energy, yeah, you would see like one of these because here you also have solar, etc. And then after you separate your house into two. You have things that are plugged into an outlet and that are safe to run with an outlet. So mostly resistive load and not inductive load. This is exactly what is written on every documentation of a smart outlet. I'm not going to recommend to put a washing machine on a smart outlet, even if I'm doing it. I would not recommend. And this is, you basically put a smart outlet everywhere. So for example, my standing desk has like lights and other things. You put it there. And then for the things that are bigger, for example, an EV charger, sorry, a dumb one, not a one that is connected, but or an oven, induction cooktop, things like this. You can buy these kind of devices that will have CT clamps, and you clamp specific wires in your electrical cabinets with the power off, and you basically can measure much bigger load doing this. That's my way. I think there is lots of other ways, but that's my way. And this is how I'm able to track like 90% of
if I can do a shout out to something that we officially do not support, but I think is a really great project. It's from Bram Stoker. He has a custom integration called PowerCalc. What PowerCalc does, they have devices that they measured energy and power profiles for devices that are known. For example, Philips Hue light bulb, even though it doesn't provide energy uses, PowerCalc knows how much energy it's using and how much power it's using based on, for example, its brightness or the colors you're using, and it creates basically virtual sensors giving you a good indication of how much power that is. And those you can actually incorporate. So without putting like power measurement sensors between all your light bulbs and things like that, you still get insight in where your energy goes. So big shout out to Bram Stoker here for its PowerCalc integration, because I think it's absolutely a beast of a thing.
It's perfect. And it's my last bucket. The last bucket is the things I don't want to track, and I'm simulating, which are lights in my case, because I have too many lights and I don't want to track them, so I'm just simulating. It's fairly on point, to be honest.
Yep.
So it's really good.
All right. I want to move on because we have 10 minutes left, but this is the changes of the energy dashboard. I think all of them really went through, and it's really good. It's so nice to see power landing here. It's one of the most requested features, to be fair. I'm looking forward to using it myself, actually. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Petar, for building it out. Well done. All right. Next up, I want to dive in quickly into what we have. Share this tab instead. Sorry, I got the wrong screen. Because we have a shitload of new automations this release, which is absolutely stunning. I don't think we can go over all of them. I don't think it would make much sense. But personally, I like Backblaze 2 here. It's another solution where you can back up to. If you're already a Backblaze 2 customer, it might be a nice place to put an additional backup into. Like I back up my Nest to them, and being able to back up Home Assistant as well is kind of nice. But also, if you have a Home Assistant cloud subscription from Nabokasa, you have backup storage there too, right? Now you could back up to both of them if you'd like. If you like to be extra a little bit secure.
The labs.
Home Assistant Labs is there. We talked about that. Yeah. Google Weather is interesting, and Google Air Quality for those who need developer accounts. But they're nice. So definitely something you could look into. If you're in the Netherlands and you have dynamic energy from Ascend, that's now there too, which is pretty nice. Yeah. It's good to see landing. Then we have Philips Hue BLE.
I like that, actually. Right? Like, I think the Philips Hue lights have for a long time supported Bluetooth, right? Because it's 2.4 gigahertz. You can switch between Bluetooth and Zigbee, and now, you can just make it work.
Yeah, definitely. So that's pretty cool. That's there. You don't need a Philips Hue hub to control some of these bulbs. Fixon BLE is also nice. I like Fixon, especially with the new energy stuff. Might be a welcome addition. That's there. New integrations. 2 new Fixon integrations that supported Cosori for V-Sync, and the last one, Wagner Pool. It's a second poll, those so you can monitor like temperature and whatnot if you pull a chlorine. I'm not sure what it all tracks with stuff like that. So it's nice that it's supported. Whole bunch of improvements to existing integrations. Let's talk about the first one, actually. Paul, should we? Do you want to comment on it?
The first one is ESP Home always did their own kind of approach to naming and device naming. And we've been moving to taking control of naming in Home Assistant, right? You have like entity names where like your entity has a specific name that no longer contains the device name. It used to all be like collapsed, and then we had problems showing this in the user interface. And now ESP Home is also adjusting to this. So if you pair, and this doesn't apply to existing ESP home devices, it's for new ESP home device that you pair, the entity ID will now be set based on the logic of how Home Assistant does it for every integration. That means that we have the device name underscore the name of the entity, and that's being set like that. So I think most people will not notice it, but if you do, a person, like, you can always rename it, but this is how it goes now.
I think the most important takeaway here is that if you have existing devices with entity IDs, they will not change. You can just upgrade, and everything you have is just like set in stone. It will not touch that. So don't be afraid of any breaking things there. So that. I like the second one a lot. This is added by Bidraco. He added a way to configure Shelly devices directly in Home Assistant using Bluetooth, so they will show up, and then you can set them up and onboard them onto your Wi-Fi network directly from Home Assistant. That's absolutely stunning.
So powerful.
Wow, what is it using behind the hood? No improve BLE, right? I guess.
No, they have their own Bluetooth-based provisioning protocol.
Great.
And Bidraco implemented that one.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely nice. Super stunning. 2-year integration keeps seeing love, so that's really nice to see that thing and that experience get better, especially if you're into catalytic boxes and automating stuff on your pad in your house. You can now do more things there. Reolink is in here every single release. It's like, come on. OpenAI, we support now the ChatGPT 5.1 model, which is nice. I think it's very nice, at least.
And Anthropic is supporting AI. It's below.
That's below, right? Anthropic.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Here, AI tasks. That's what you want. That's cool.
Nice.
Actually, I want to play a bit with that because I know that for example, you devs are really like Claude Code, and I think that there is a lot of reasoning that Claude is a bit better. I want to play with AI task with Claude to see how it compares to OpenAI and Gemini.
Yeah, I think it might be an improvement. Yeah, we should get some benchmarks going for AI tasks. We haven't yet.
Yeah.
Look at the list; it's huge. I like the addition for Portainer. By the way, I know a lot of people enjoy using Portainer as a way to run Home Assistant. So we have now more information. So that's cool. Yeah, feel free to go down to this list. It's in the release notes. It might be here.
I have to check, Frank. The Nederlandse spoorwegen is now improve reliability. Is this about the trains operations? As in, like,
the trains will now all run on time. We fixed the schedules. They will now all run on time. You will never have delays again. Please all install it. No, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But the integration itself is more reliable. It has been very bad in the day, and it's now definitely getting to a state where it's actually exceptional. So definitely interesting if you travel a lot and commute a lot by train in the Netherlands. It's fun to look at.
Nice.
Talking about quality of integrations, we have a bunch of them reaching up into the quality scale. Good ones to see. Both Shelly and Broader printers are now reached platinum. So congratulations on that, right? That's definitely good. And we see Music Assistant getting up into the bronze scale now. So they're moving up as well. Thank you so much, everybody who worked on this and getting these integrations up. It really makes them tons and tons better. It's quite the achievement to do. So congratulations all that have worked on these. Set up through UI, Duck DNS, because you can.
Nice.
And we say farewell to, hold on, here we go, Domino's Pizzas.
It was really cool.
No.
Apparently it was running a long time.
I was always making that joke that I can order a pizza when I flush my toilet. I cannot do that joke anymore.
No,
I never was able to do it because it was only in the US. But I need to change my joke about the breadth of how much device we connect. I need to change my joke then.
It's gone, unfortunately. But the idea was cool. We also took out Flick Electric. They have been moved and the service has been taken offline, so there's nothing to communicate with anymore. Cloud has been taken away, sadly enough. Then there's a huge list, so I didn't scroll through at this point for a reason, but we have a whole bunch of different integrations that are being removed this release, and they are all being removed for the same reason. this release is the release where we stopped supporting 32-bit architectures and stopped supporting 2 installation methods, which is Home Assistant running directly in Python and a Home Assistant supervised, which is a custom OS-based installation. Those have been deprecated for over 6 months, and the deprecation period ended. These integrations all relied on having one of those installation methods we no longer support. People that have been using these would have had repairs issues and repairs on their systems for already 6 months. And at this point, it's time to say goodbye to them.
I'm sad about keyboard because that was one of the first integrations added to Home Assistant where you could like simulate key presses on the machine that was running Home Assistant.
It's fairly early Stream Deck, basically, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like I think I was just looking for libraries in Python. I was like, oh yeah, this I could add to Home Assistant.
Well, there we have it.
I am very every time I'm seeing snips, I'm extremely sad.
Yes,
Snips,
Just
yeah.
saying, as a Frenchie that likes voice, I am very sad.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking what was SMS used for. You could attach a modem directly to Home Assistant and send SMSs out that way. Yeah,
That's wild. Yeah.
it was a while. Some other noteworthy changes. We have a few new functions in our template engine called clamp and remap and wrap. If you want that, that's nice. The activity card now supports filtering by state, which is pretty cool. Mind freeze, which is better actually. Min-max options to the gotcha card. Thank you so much for doing that. And I added a little thing that annoyed me while I was going through Home Assistant. You can now delete helpers directly from Home Assistant from the panel. I quickly can show you how it looks, by the way, because it's
Snowflakes everywhere.
the snowflakes are everywhere. It works. But if you have this little helper, there's now a delete button right here.
Nice.
You can remove it without going through multiple screens. It's such a tiny thing. I don't know why that was the case, but hey, why not? Like that was just
Sweet.
right? And blueprint panels now show you how often certain blueprints are used. I think it's really good.
The one thing about that I noticed is if you take over the blueprint, it actually doesn't show the count anymore. So, because I went in immediately to go look at that because I have a couple blueprints I use, but if you take them over, it won't show in that count.
Correct.
Right,
Because
they're no
they're
longer
not-
linked, right? Because you've
They're no
taken
longer-
control.
Yeah, correct. So that's not there. And this one I really like. Labels now show up on the device page, in the device information card.
yeah.
So if you go to a device in Home Assistant, you can actually see which labels you've attached to that device without going into like the settings, which was weird.
Nice.
So that's a nice addition. You already showed the insights on AI
Yeah.
conversation, but you had something else to show as well, Pauls, right? Did you prep that, or should I just show it?
Yeah, because I don't remember which one I was going to show.
Android.
Oh, you're right. Can I show that? I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
did
don't
not
know.
prep that one.
I can also show a screenshot. It's fine. We're running out of time anyway.
Yeah, we're
so
running
we
over
don't show.
time. Oh, I.
So we have a cool little feature added here is that if you go to an entity and you hit the 3 dots, there's a little, if you go to an entity information screen, can I show that actually? Does that work? Let me see if I quickly can. I can not show it at all. All right, if you go to an entity dialog, like an entity information screen, there's now a little add to button. And if you click that on an Android phone, it will actually give you the ability to directly add that entity into, for example, to your Pixel Watch, which is really cool. So this is like closing the gaps between the Home Assistant front end and Android. So if you're an Android user, you can now easily add entities to all kinds of places, including your home screen, Pixel Watch, car, whatever not. Somebody's asking, didn't you have a video in the release notes before? Yes, there was a video on this specific one in the beta release notes. It was a very development-based video where this screenshot is based on. I couldn't resize it in the proper way for the release notes, so I left with the screenshot at this point. It shows what it can do.
Yeah, but this is really cool because you can just quickly in Home Assistant open an entity, boom, it's on your home screen, right? Like.
Yeah, we could add more stuff in here over time, right? I don't know, do an automation with this entity or this device or things like that. We can.
I want dynamic island for iPhone, I want to
that
just
would be
have
nice.
like certain entities. But I talked about it with the iOS devs, and it's very hard because you need push notifications to control what's being shown there.
Oh, okay.
So one day.
One day we'll get there. But nice addition here in Android. So thank you, Timothy, for that one. Yeah. Besides that, we have to talk about the backwards incompatible changes. And I'm very happy to show you. It's a nice little list this month. To quick glance over it, we talked a little bit about it already. The old supervised installation method is going away, as well as 32 bits and Home Assistant core running in Python. If you want to have more information, the blog is linked here. In this blog, there's detailed information on what this means, if you're affected or not. If you're upgrading to this release, you're not affected potentially. But look at this release here, this blog here. It will explain you everything, and also how you can migrate if that is an option.
Backups.
Backups are amazing. If you want to migrate to a different system, it's so easy, to be fair.
Yeah.
Templates in here. I would call this a bug fix. The issue function now returns all issues that are actually active and not the one you've already solved or just missed. I would call this a bug fix, to be fair, but the behavior changed slightly, so this is something that we need to call out. Go to RTC now requires a username password, but this is only if you set it up manually, by the way, and you will be guided through it. But for existing installations, if you're running Home Assistant OS and we manage it for you, no worry, we can just upgrade. Unify Protect, they removed the sensor. That's no longer there and no longer possible with what they support, but they have introduced a similar sensor as well in return. So you need to replace it, basically, your usage, which is a better sensor. And last but not least, Xbox made a few little changes as well. So it's not too bad. Besides that, if you're an integration developer or work on custom integrations, we have a whole lot of developer blogs for you to catch up to and see what's going on, the latest, greatest in the backend things. And that would be it for this small release, actually.
I want to just, people, before you just turn off the stream, because like we're wrapping up, there's
also
a surprise
at the end. Yep, okay.
There's a surprise at the end, so you want to make sure you wait till the end.
Yeah, it is. I would call it an Easter egg in a way. It's like the waiting for the subtitles to finish on some movie to see like an extra scene kind of level deal, right?
It's the ending. How is it called? Post-credit scene.
Finish on some
We are
movie.
announcing the Open Home Foundation multiverse.
Open Home Foundation multiverse.
All right.
Do we have more in here? I don't think anything.
No,
right?
that's it. That's a wrap, people.
That's a wrap.
We are already 7 minutes over time. So
That's
we're
good. Great for
streaming
us.
borrowed time. Next January will be shorter to compensate. No.
Yeah.
I
wanna-
see how much time JLo and I can shove into everything,
Yeah.
Lara.
I wanna thank everybody for watching, for using Home Assistant. I wish everybody a happy holidays. Enjoy time with your family. Tell them about Home Assistant. They'll probably love it when you talk your whole Christmas dinner about Home Assistant.
It's funny because it's true.
In the end, I wish everybody indeed like a very pleasant holiday and a very good end for the year as well. Be safe and enjoy the time. Enjoy Home Assistant. If you have a little bit of time off, it might be a good time to play a little bit with all the new features. We're definitely happy to learn how you feel about the new lab features released and the new automation triggers and conditions. Give it a shot and let us know. And if you have feedback for the dashboards as well, Laura will be happily looking forward to what you have to say, and maybe we'll see some improvements for next release. If you haven't done yet, hit the thumbs up button down below if you like what we do, and hit subscribe and the bell for the next thing, and stick around. But all that's left is happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Now I need to hit end, right? This is so long.
Yeah,
Way
it's
too
all
long
you.
with all-
Dashing through the code with a brand new labs to show. Snowflakes start to fall. Watch the dashboard glow. Triggers now make sense. Conditions feel just right. What fun it is to automate your smart home every night. Jingle Labs.